Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Data Analytics with Career Guidance course. Today, we are in day 10 of SQL Server training. The topics what we'll be covering today is stored procedure and views. So before I start the topic, you will be getting the certification of completion. I'll discuss about this in the end, okay, end of this session. You'll be getting 3 books actually. It's a very unique books and very nice in-depth books. Microsoft SQL Server Bible, then step-by-step SQL Server, and also how to write TSQL in say SQL Server. Okay, I'll discuss about this in the end of this session. So I want all of you please listen to the session, and then in the end I'll discuss about this. Right, so first let's open our SQL Server Management Studio. Also, let me open the notepad. Okay, right. Stored procedure. So what is stored procedure? Stored procedures are used to group one or more TSQL statement into logical units. They're actually stored as a name object in the SQL Server database server. So what is this? I'll tell you. Stored procedure means it is also a query. But sometimes we actually write some, conditions. What happens when I'm actually writing the condition? Every time I cannot go and keep on passing the values. I mean, I have to keep writing a new query for filtering the data. So instead of again and again giving the values, that is passing the values, or say changing the values in the condition, so we can pass some values. Like what we have these functions, what we write, what we use in Excel. I'll mention some functions, say equal sum. Then I have some parameters which I'll be passing and I'll be getting the results. Similarly, we can write a procedure. Procedure is nothing but a function which we write and we can store it. Anytime I want, I can call that and I can execute. So let's go with some simple stored procedures, and then slowly we'll see how actually we can use the parameters in the stored procedure. Right, so let me connect. And then we'll take the query window. Use DB. Let's select our database. Done. Right? So let me write one query. Select star from orders. So we know that this is a very simple query. I'll execute, I'll get all the records. Then after that, we also wrote some queries like this, where I was taking all the columns. Say the columns whichever is required, I'll just take that order ID, order date, and let's say customer name, region, sales. Now, if I execute this, I'll get only those columns. Then we also learned how to use where condition. Where sales is greater than or equals to 5,000. Sometimes we also give queries with multiple conditions. That is, say, where sales is greater than or equals to 5,000, and let's say region equals east. So this is how we actually used to write the queries to extract the data from the table. Now, if you want to change this, say I want this sales to be 1,000, then I'll go here, I'll change the query. I want this to be west, I'll go and I'll change the values in this query, that is the condition values, I'll say fi, then I'm getting some results. So every time, if I want to change these values, I have to go to that query and edit it. Instead, I will store this somewhere, okay, in my SQL server. Whenever I want, I'll just call this procedure what we have written, the function what we have written, and then pass only those values which are used for filtering the data. So that is stored procedure. The stored procedure, many of them actually feel that, or say they think that it is very complex. It is not complex. I'll tell you how easily you can write the stored procedure. As I mentioned, procedure means it is function actually. Okay. If you have come across, the programming language, if you come across this VBA especially, we call it as procedure. SAS, even in SAS also we call it as procedure. So if you have come across programming language, then understand about the function, procedure, codes or something. So here we call it as procedure, right? So how to create a procedure? So very simple. First, write the query whichever you are trying to execute. First, write the query. Like what I did, I wrote some queries, I executed it. Later, if you want to store that somewhere, you have to just add this code, say create procedure name as, then say begin and end. Mention the code, mention the query inside this begin and end. So how to do this? See, first what we'll do, we'll go here. Let's take a simple query. I'll take this query only. Okay, let's take a simple query. It's a very simple query. I'll say begin. And here we'll mention end. Okay. See, I mentioned begin, end. In middle, we have this SQL query, what we are trying to execute. Above this begin, okay, above this begin, so create procedure and procedure name. Let's say I'll give the procedure name as select data. Okay, just one simple query name, the procedure name I'm given. I'll mention it as. That's it. Create procedure name as begin and end. All right. Now let me select this. Now there is a procedure which got created, that is select data. If you go to our database and here we just see, where is that? Okay. Now here we have this programmability. Then here I have the stored procedure. You can see whatever I've written that procedure. Okay, that will be available here. I don't have any parameters here. So here you can see I have this procedure. Now how to execute this procedure? You just have to say execute, or you can say exec and then mention this name. Now in my case, it is select data, the procedure name. So I'll go here. I'll say exec. That is enough. Or say if you want to give complete, then we can give like this and use this procedure name. Now I'll say fi. You can see I'm getting all the data. Now I don't have to write this query. I just have to call this function. That's all. I'm saying execute this procedure name. Right. Let me next go and create this one. One more procedure. Okay. We paste it here. See, I have this query. I'll say begin. And after this query, I'll say end. Let me use tab so that I'll know where the procedure is beginning and where it is ending. Then I'll say create procedure. Let's say I'll mention it as SP, that is stored procedure. Say extract data. I'm just giving one more name. Here we have to mention as. See, create procedure name. Now I'm actually using this query inside begin and end. Now select this query, fi, you can see that the procedure is created. Now I just have to call this function, the procedure. Let's say this time I'll just use only exec sp underscore extract data. Let me select this F5. See, you can see that the query is executed. Now you'll be thinking we could have just used only this query and then execute. We can execute like this as well. But the thing is, we are learning how to create stored procedure, and there are so many other things what you have to learn. Slowly, step by step, we learn that. All right. So now let's go here and we'll take this query and then we'll write a procedure for this query, which is extracting the data. Along with that, it is filtering by using the sales and region values. We can also write the store procedure like this. Okay, create procedure, speak, then we'll say filter date. Then we'll say as begin end. Okay, so first create one template like this, or say we call it as pseudo code, or you can also say that you'll just have to create one procedure like this. And then what we'll do, we'll copy this query. So this way also we can actually do. So what we'll do, we'll just create one placeholder like this, create procedure name as begin, and then I'll use tab and I'll paste it. So let me select this. I'm using this tab so that I'll know where the query is beginning and where it is ending. Let me select this. I'll say FI. Now the procedure is created. All right. Now I'll go here, select, so or say we can directly use this EXEC SP underscore filter date. Select FI, you can see we are getting the result here. Now, what if I wanted this to be 1000 and this one to be, sorry, this one to be like 5000 and this one to be east? I have to go here, I have to change the query. Every time if you're doing like this will actually take a lot of time, and again have to go and keep changing the query and also the condition value. So for this, the store procedure is actually used so that we can pass the values and then we can filter the data. All right. Now let's see how we can use the parameters. Okay. Right. Parameters. What are parameters? Parameters are nothing but they are the arguments or attributes where we actually create some kind of placeholder where I can pass the values. Say, for example, here, I want the region to be filtered. So what I did here, I mentioned West. So instead of again and again giving this as West, what we can do is we can try to give some a placeholder here where I can just pass the values while executing so that that value is used in the query to filter the data. Let me tell you what it is. Say, for example, I have a query where I need to filter the region. So what I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say create procedure, stored procedure, I'll say filter region. Okay, begin as begin end. Now I'll write a query here. Let me copy the same query, but this time we'll start with only filtering region. Okay, I'm just starting with filtering only region. So what I'll do, I'll put one bracket, I'll open and close the bracket. Here I'll say at, say get region. You have to mention the data type, like what we do for table creation, same thing. You have to mention this at, and here I'll give the parameter name. You can give any name here, but don't give space here. It should be a one single word as, and then data type, like what we do for table. As, let's say, varchar. Now I can see this is actually the parameter where what I can do is I can pass this in this query here. So instead of region, what I'll do is I'll just take this parameter value here. What I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say at get region. So what I did, I just mentioned whatever the parameter value here. I'll select this and say F5. You can see that the procedure is created now. I'll go here, say execute filter region. Now you just see, I will try to run this. It will not work because now we need to mention the value. Previously, we had created procedure without parameters. But now we have created one parameter. I'll go here. What I'll do, because it's a text, you have to mention the value in text that is in single quote. Select F5. You can see I'm getting the data filtered by east. Now I don't have to write again this query. What I'll do, I'll go here, I'll say west. Select F5. You can see that the data is filtered by west. Give any value. So what it will do is, depending on the value, whatever I'm passing, the query will run and here the data will be extracted. This is for one single query. Now let me copy this. I am creating the query. I'm not modifying the same query. If you want, we can do that. Later, I'll tell you how we can alter, that is how to modify the existing queries. Now I need to have multiple queries. When I say multiple queries, that means I need to add one more query or say any number of queries. Now here, if you want to add some more queries, you just have to mention this comma and then add one more query. You can keep adding any number of queries here. I mean, any number of parameters here. Let me put this region and here I'll say sales. Comma. Here I'll mention at get sales as, I'll give it as decimal because there can be some decimal values as well. So I'm just using this decimal. So if you want, you can use any other data type depending on whatever the values you are actually taking. Now here I'll say where mention that and sales equals at get sales. Done. Now I have two parameters. There is more than one parameter. I will select and I'll say FI. You can see that the procedure is created. Now I'll just go here, exec sp underscore, is the document filter region and sales. Now I have to give both the parameter values. First I'll say east, comma, the sales. Now you don't have to give quotes here because it's a number, it's in decimal. I'll go here, I'll say 2000. Let me select this, press F5. Okay. Sorry, I've given this equals here. So it is taking equals value. 1 minute. Let's not go to this alter now. First, delete this. Sorry. So I'll just give greater than or equals to. Okay, there is no value 2000. I mentioned it equals. That's why it was actually not giving any value. Because I'm just teaching you only create now. I'm just trying to create this. I'm not modifying it. Okay, let's do that later. Let me select this and I'll say F5, say all the values which are in the region east and the values which are greater than or equals to 2000 is getting filtered here. Now the same thing, I'll go here, I'll say west. And here I'll mention as 5000. Let's see if I have any values. Fine, see. I'm not writing this query again and again. I'm not writing this, I'm not changing any values in the where clause. I'm just trying to call this procedure and then pass the values. So this will be very easy because, whenever I want to execute some queries, let's say I have a very big query. Sometimes what happens, we'll be combining so many different tables. That is, we are using these joins. And then suppose if you think that, every time I have to go and write that query or copy that from somewhere and paste it and then execute, that will be time consuming. And also you might make mistakes. Instead, write one procedure like this and keep it so that you just have to call only that procedure and then pass the values so that you get the data extracted very quickly. So if you now see, we have written so many stored procedures here. All the stored procedure or SP, people will call it as SP. Some people will call it as stored procedure. That will be here in the programmability. You go to the stored procedure, you can see all these are the stored procedure what we have created. All right. Sometimes what happens, we might forget to specify the values. Okay. So in that case, we can actually give something called as optional parameters. So what are optional parameters? Optional parameters are the parameters where we actually give the default value. So we can forget, say sometimes we might forget to give the values. Let's say, or we want some default values if you're not passing the values. Let's say this region, okay? Here I have this region. If I'm not passing any value, I should get some default value. I'll go here, let's say equals, I want by default to be east and this value to be 2000. We just see here, okay? We'll say optional, okay? By default, we have this region as east and sales as 2000. Let me select this and I'll say F1. Procedure is created. Now, let me go here and I'll execute filter sales. Okay. Now I'll give the value west and say 3000. I pass the values. F5, I'm getting the result. Let's say I'll go here, I'll make it as 4000. Then run this. I'm getting 8 records. Suppose I will not give this value. If it was like compulsory, we need to enter the values. That is, these are all compulsory. We have to pass the values. But here I given some default value. I just say I given this west. I will execute this. I'm getting 44 records. Now this value, that is the sales value. If I'm not giving anything, it will show me. It will give me as 2000 because the default value what I've given is 2000. Now let me go here and pass 2000 as the values. I'm getting 44 records. If I execute this, see, still I'm getting 44 records. That means whether I mention here 2000 or not, by default it is 2000. Now let's go here. I'll not give any value. I'll not give west. I'll not give 2000. Select F5. See, still I'm getting this. Okay, that is right. So let me go here. It is taking, what is it? Okay, east. It is taking east. Now let's go here. I'll say east, comma 2000. Let me select this. I'm getting 46 records for east and 2000. Let me say FIC. I'm getting 46 rows. That means sometimes what happens, we might not need the values to be passed. That is in the procedure, the parameter value. So in that case, I can leave it as optional. We can give some optional values. That is, by default, we need to get say east or 2000 in this procedure. So we can create some procedures with optional values. If you're not passing any value, we can directly go and take this. It will take the default values. So likewise, we can create the procedures. Right. Next one is variables. So we can use these variables. I'll come to these variables. So before that, what we'll do is we'll try to learn how to alter the procedure. What is this alter? Alter means we know that we can modify. So, we created so many procedures here. We mentioned create procedure and procedure name, and we used to write the queries here, whatever queries is required. But suppose if you think I want to modify, let's say I want to modify this procedure. I'll take this one. Copy this, paste it here. Now, if you want to modify the existing procedure, okay, so what we have to do, instead of this create, I'll say alter procedure name. And then let's say we'll add one more parameter. Get profit. This alter procedure name. And then I'm adding one more procedure here, or if you want to change the query, I'll change the query here. Say, and profit is greater than or equals to and get profit. Let me select this F5. See, the procedure filter region underscore sales is modified now along with this query. And also we have this one more parameter. Now, if you go here, we had executed this. Let me select this query. And now if I say F5, it will throw error because there is one more parameter which got added. Now we have to go here and we have to pass the profit value as well. Let's say greater than or equals to 0. Select F. I'm getting the result. Now, if you want to alter this, where I want this profit value to be equals to 0. Now, let me select this and say F5. The procedure is modified. Now, I don't have to give this profit because I made it as optional. Say F5. Select this. So, likewise, we can actually try to execute this. We can give optional parameters. We can give, the parameters which are compulsory like this. All right. So if you want to delete, I don't want the procedure. Just mention drop. And then I'll say drop procedure name. Select F5. This procedure is deleted now. Now, suppose if I go here now and try to execute this, it says could not find stored procedure. This procedure is not available in the database. So likewise, we can create a procedure, alter the procedure, and we can delete the procedure. All right. Here we have something called as variables. This is not compulsory actually. So what are variables? Variables means similarly like whatever we had used these values. So we can use this variable, that is we can declare the variable. Declare in the sense we are actually trying to create some space in the memory and then we can pass the values. We can use something like this as well. Okay. And for this, when I use this declare, then every time I have to go and change the value here. Okay. In the query actually, right? Okay. Comments. Comments means what? I have a procedure which I've written. Okay. Let's say, for example, let me this query is written to delete the procedure. Now you just think I'm writing one procedure. I'm writing one query here. I want to mention, okay, some non-executable statement. Now, if you say this, This is non-executable statement. I just want to have some notes or say some description about the program what I'm writing or some queries what I'm writing. So here, let's say I want to write this procedure is written to get region and sales. This is not executed. Now, suppose if you select this and then say if I see, now suppose I'm not giving this two hyphens. Now this will become like a query. Now if I try to run this, it will throw error because it thinks that this is also a query. So in that case, I have to make it a quote like this, the comment like this with two hyphens, right? Okay. This is for one single line. What if I have multiple lines to be commented? We can use this slash star, and in the end, I can use this slash and star. Now let's say I want this entire code to be commented. Just go here in the beginning, slash star, and then in the end, wherever you want to end, I'll say star slash. See, now this entire code, whatever is there, this becomes comment. So you cannot, execute this. That is, it will just say commands completed successfully, but nothing will happen here because this is a comment, non-executable code. So which is actually used for making some notes or some, text, whatever we want to enter, which should not be executed or so which cannot be executed. So these are called as comments, right? Okay. The next one, what we have is views. Views are nothing. It's just a virtual query, what we can say. A view is a named query stored in the database that allows you to refer whenever it is required. What is view? Let me tell you. So what happens? Let me go here to the query window. And here what I'll do, let's go here. I'll create one query. Let's copy the same query instead of again typing it. I'm selecting this query. Okay. I will just paste it here. This query, I'm actually writing again and again, again and again. Now here, keep in mind a lot of difference between views and stored procedure. I'll tell you after learning this views. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll create a view. Let me go in. How to create view? Again, it is very simple. Just say create view, view name as. That's it. There is no beginning, end, nothing. Just say create view and give the view name and mention as. Here I'll say create view and we'll say the scope extracted. That's all. I just give a simple name here and I'll say as. Now what I'll do is I'll select the query. I'll say fi. There is a view which gets created, that is v underscore extract data. Now this is like a virtual table. Now what I'll do, I'll go here. I don't have to write the entire query like this. I'll say select star from, and I'll give this view name. Select, say fi. See, I don't have to write the entire query here. Now let's go here. I'll write one more query. Let's say select star from join table one. Okay, we have this join table. I'll write one query that is to join the tables. Okay. Join table. Say join table one dot. Let me take this order ID. Join table one dot segment. Join table one dot sales. Okay. I'm trying to write a query which has got this joins. So we'll have a big query here. Join table two dot. Let's say I'll take this category. Join table two dot. Take region. then take dot quantity. Okay. From table 1, inner join table 2 on join table 1 dot order ID equals join table 2 dot order ID done. Now this is one query actually. So I'll execute this. I'm getting the results here. Now every time I cannot go and keep on writing this query. So what I'll do, I'll create a create view. Say and here I'll say as select and then I'll say F5. Now you just see I don't have to write the entire query now. I'll go here, say select star from. See, that's it. Now this is the query. If I say F5, you can see that I'm getting this values. That is, it is running this query, but I'm just calling this virtual. This is something like a virtual table. But the main table, whatever is there, it will be available. Here we have this a view called as v underscore join, which we can use exactly like what we use the query to extract the data from the table. But let's go here. I'll say where category equals furniture. Let me select this query F5. You can see that it's getting filtered. We can, use this view exactly like what we use the query for the tables. Okay, so we can create these views and we can keep it. So whenever we want, we can actually, call this or say we can use this views like the normal queries. You can go and check this. Here we have this database. Under the database, we have these tables. Then we can see that views. So here we have the views created. All right. So this is how actually we can use the views and stored procedures. The difference between stored procedure and views is view can be used as a virtual table, wherein stored procedure is actually a procedure, a program which we write and we can store it, where we can pass the values and then execute to extract the data depending on the parameter value what we pass. Okay, right. So there are so many queries. So whatever is possible to teach you within the time limits, I've taught you almost everything what we use in the SQL query I've used. I've actually taught you. Still, if you people want to learn more, okay, we have some textbooks which I'll be sharing it with you. You can refer this. Okay, here we have the Bible where we have the entire SQL server is available. And suppose if you think that you want to learn from beginning step by step, even that is available. And TSQL. So these are all some of the books which I used to refer to improvise or say to refer whenever there is some complexity in the queries. So I'll be sharing it with you. For this, you I'll tell you. So you will be getting a certificate. You have to fill a link, which I'll be sharing it with you. So before that, before I give all the links, before I give the instructions how to fill this, the certificate details, I'll give you 1 minute, all of you. Tell me how was this session? How was the entire session? I'll take all your questions, people. Please, when I ask something, just do only that. All your questions will be answered. So now I just want to know, I'll give you 1 minute. Please tell me how was the entire SQL Server sessions? I'll take your questions, people, for sure. Okay, right. So thank you so much, all of you, for your feedback for this SQL Server sessions. Okay, right. Now I'll take the questions. So there are already two questions. I'll just answer that. Meanwhile, anybody has got any question, please post it. I'll be answering these questions. Okay. First question is from Rakesh. If you have to delete where condition, then which command we use in the procedure? Say, if you want to remove the where conditions or whatever that part, the where clause, use alter and remove that, the where condition in that particular query, and then execute it. That's it. So you're just removing the where clause from the query. That is, you're altering. Suppose if you've already written a query where it has got where condition, that is where clause, remove that where clause by using this alter procedure name. That's it. That is done. Okay, you are actually modifying the query. All right. Okay. Next, Mohan is asking, as an end user, how can we come to know that order of the parameter created in the procedure to pass the values while executing the procedure? To all of you, okay, please listen. Whenever we are writing the queries, it is not that we are giving these queries to the client to execute. Okay, I'll tell you, there are various different ways where we actually use this SQL queries. Okay, first thing is SQL queries are not actually given to the client to execute unless and until those people are, um, they are from the technical background, or if the requirement is that you have to give the queries to them, we're just writing the queries and we are giving to them, and we'll be explaining them what all things has to be done. Second thing, these queries are actually written and they are actually called, we'll have a GUI. Let's say, for example, I have a form wherein I need to fill that form and say, click on submit. At that time, we'll be using these kind of procedures to extract the data. So the user will not be giving any value in the query. So you'll be passing the values in the form what you've created. And when I click on that submit, these values are passed. That is when we are actually developing some softwares. Okay. As you mentioned, whenever, suppose if you think directly I'm giving a query, it is not the, not just the query we'll be giving, we'll be explaining them what actually the queries are actually doing. Okay, so you don't have to worry. Usually the queries are written so that you know we can actually execute that in the backend. Okay, these are most of the times these are actually used in the backend, not in the front end. Okay, Mohan, I think I've answered your question. Okay. Right. So Santosh is telling, sir, I have learned SAS. It looks similar in procedure of writing queries. Yes, there are so many similarities. Okay, there are so many similarities in most of the programming languages, most of the queries what we write, and the functions what we actually use. Suppose if you learn functions in Excel, similar kind of functions you can see in SQL, you can see in Power BI, Tableau. Most of the, let's say for example, I use this apps. That apps is available in almost all the programming languages, tools, softwares, spreadsheets. Okay, all right. Swati, why we use the views? Views are actually used. I'll tell you why views are used. Views are actually used whenever I have a very big queries like this. Say in this case, you see, I have a very big query like this. Here I've just used only two tables to join. There are sometimes, there'll be a very big query. So at that time, it will become very difficult for us to every time write the queries. So what we do is we'll create this one view, and then what we do is we just use only this view name. That's all. We don't have to write the entire query or say copy and paste this entire query. We just use this view so that it is very easy for me to extract the data. Okay, Swati, I think you understood. What's the major difference between procedure and views? The intention of these queries almost same, right? So, Gangadhar, I'll tell you in a simple way. Procedure is actually a kind of program where we write and we are actually trying to pass the values. Okay, we are passing the values here so that I can execute this query depending on whatever values I'm passing here. Views are nothing but they are virtual table. Okay, virtual table in the sense we are creating a virtual table where we can extract the data by writing the query. See, here we are not writing the query. When we write a procedure, we are not writing the query to call the values. We are using the procedure name. It's a program actually. We call this as program. View is not a program. It is actually a query where we write, this is something like a table. View is a virtual table and procedure is actually a program which we write, store, and use that whenever required, depending on the parameter value what is given. Gangadhar, I hope you understood what I told. Okay. Right. So, people, before we finish this session, as I promised you that you will be getting this certificate. Okay. For that, I have some link. Okay, where we need to fill that link. Okay, like every time what we do for the courses. So here I'll be giving you this SQL Server course completion link. Okay, let me post it in the chat box. Right, I want all of you fill this by 11 p.m. today. Okay, and again, people, I have seen many people entering the data wrongly, and again messaging saying that we have entered our name wrongly, or say, I'm not entered properly. Please don't do that because it will be very difficult for us. And again, please fill the details before 11 p.m. because again some people are entering after that and they are messaging saying that I was not available and things like that. It's very difficult for us because if it is like one time, we can just finish that and we can send you the certificate. But again, for one or two, again sitting for the entire process, it will take a lot of time. So please understand even our problem as well. Even we have very less time, so please try to feel that it takes hardly 2 minutes. That's all. Okay, please do that and fill that. I'll be giving you the certificate, say by tomorrow EOD, or if possible, as early as possible. I'll post the certificate and you will be getting these 3 books. Post it. Okay, like already people have done, post it. And again, I'm telling you, some people actually they just post only the certificate. I want you people to encourage, appreciate whatever you have done, whatever you have learned, put that as well. Because when you tag us, that will be seen by more other people. People, I'm telling you, it is not just, I know that we also will be benefited, but I'm telling you, there are a lot of benefits for you as well. That is when you actually tag us. Okay, when you actually tag us, I'll be again, reposting it in my profile so that many people actually will see. There are so many HRs, I told you, there are more than 2,500 connections where they'll be keep, and they are all genuine, whom I know personally. Okay. So you will have a lot of chances that you might get at least recognized. I cannot promise you that you will get a job or calls or something. At least your profile will be viewed by someone who is there in my circle. Okay, that is professional circle. Okay, all right. So you can tag us. I've given the tags here. Okay, and also people, I want the people to give some reviews in Google. Okay, so this will actually help us to uh, give some more trainings like this. The trainings what we're actually giving now. So we can give more and more trainings if you people actually encourage us. You can also follow me in this LinkedIn. So you can follow me in the LinkedIn. So if you want to get the books, the link will be shared in the LinkedIn message only. I'll not use this WhatsApp group because there WhatsApp group, there are so many people. If I send again, it's of no use. There are many people who have not attended the session at all. So I don't want to give the certificates and the gifts for those who are actually not attending. Okay, so please message me after posting your certificate in LinkedIn, tagging us. Message me in LinkedIn. I will send you the link for the books, all these 3 books. Okay, it's a very nice books actually. um, Step by step, complete in-depth of SQL is there. So you can refer this. Okay, the certificate will be like this. So use this link. Again, I'm sending you that link, certificate of completion. Okay, this one. And again, please, I request all of you, go to Google, review us, because we are taking a lot of efforts. People have taken almost 2 months. Okay, we have taken this efforts to teach you people a complete data analytics. Okay, right. Okay. Nupur, you can message me, but still try and you can connect with me so that you can actually message in the LinkedIn itself. Okay. Right. So people, the next topic will be about the career guidance. There will be 1 day of session. So what we'll do is we'll keep it not tomorrow. We'll keep it on tomorrow is what, Wednesday. We'll keep it on Thursday. A complete career guidance I'll be giving. Along with that, there are many people who have attended the sessions. Okay. There are many people who have attended all the sessions, almost all the sessions. So you will be getting one more certificate. This is for the individual course. So you will be getting a certificate of data analytics. Okay. The course here, it will be like course of data analytics. Okay. The course will be data analytics. That is complete training, whatever we have done, because the course is actually about the data analytics. So whatever we have sent till now is just an individual certificate. So you'll also be certified as a data analytics, the course, whatever you have done, the package. So you will be certified as data analyst as well. So attend that on Thursday morning, 7 to 8, so that you guys can get the certificate. That is the complete certificate, data analytics. Okay, and the reporting. So that is what the certificate will be getting. That is for the overall courses, whatever we have done till now. Okay, that is given only for those who attend on that day. So please attend. That will be career guidance. You will get, Nupur, don't worry, you will get that. You attend the career guidance on Thursday. After that, you'll be eligible, because some of them actually couldn't attend some of the courses. They have messaged with valid reason. So no worries. So you will be getting the data analyst certificate. Okay. Right. So Bharat, SSRS, SSAS is not covered in this topic, because we actually are concentrating only on the query part. So I've thought that SSRS, SSAS, we'll see, we'll plan accordingly, because I have lot other commitments from August. So I have to finish this before August. I'll try my best to actually, I'm searching for some more trainers who actually can do and support us for ITAS Asare for delivering knowledge like this. Okay. Sure, I'll be sharing you a lot of things. Don't worry. I'll be sharing you with some data. Okay. I'll be doing that. Don't worry, Swati. You can attend on Thursday. So I'll message the links and everything. But people, please, again, I'm telling you, go to Google. I want all of you to review us, give us some positive comments, which will actually help us, which will also encourage us to, take more trainings like this. And again, certificate link I'm sending here. Please use this link and fill this form. Also, you can connect with me and my institute with this link in the LinkedIn. Okay. All right, people. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Thursday with the career guidance. That is how to use LinkedIn, how to use job portals, a lot of things which I'll be discussing with you. So I'll see you on Thursday. So tomorrow you take a break. On Thursday we'll meet, and then we'll discuss about how actually the career will be on data analytics, and also get the certificate of the entire package, that whatever we have taught till 2 months, that is data analyst certificate. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day, all of you. Please fill the form for the certificate, so that you'll get your SQL Server certificate. About data analyst certificate, we'll See you on Thursday. Right? Have a great day, people. Take care. See you on Thursday with the Career Guidance Program. Thank you. Bye bye.